First of all, I want to say Happy Teacher's Day to everybody. It's a huge deal in schools here in China. And when I was a kid, every year this time we bring in flowers and some special things for our teachers. And Teacher Zhao Yi will talk more about Teacher's Day. I'll first give a very quick update. So I'm not sure if you have been into 6Apple page lately, but we have this super cute MasterCard that teachers can adopt. So if you have time, definitely check them out because I am very jealous. I wish employees can have a card like that. Totally love them. So now I'll start on the culture session where we'll talk about how Chinese children have been dealing with the pandemic. What is their new semester look like? What do they do on campus? And what are the measures that the government have put in to deal with the problem? And then Teacher Zhao Yi will get started on Teacher's Day. So pandemic and school, there are 5 parts: the preparation, schedules for children to start school, coming into your school, inside the classroom, and the PE classes, because the last one was weirdly one of the most commonly discussed questions among parents. So once we've decided that the kids are going back to school, the school will send out a form, look just like this. It asks you to record the kids' temperature every day. This is the date, what is the temperature. If they have any symptoms, and they have like a list of symptoms here. Is the kid having a high fever? Are they coughing? Are they have sore muscles? Are they puking? Are they feeling some difficulty to breathe? So parents can just fill in here. And if you look over this side, you will see that they will also record whoever is living with the child. And you have to record like your temperature if you have been outside Beijing, and you have to write them down. And then you have to do that for like 14 days before the kid starts school. And the school also asks parents to sign agreement. So because my son is starting preschool next week, so the school send this, it's like we have to promise that we keep our child safe. We have to promise to avoid taking a child to places with large crowds, such as malls. We avoid public transportation. So whenever we can, we walk or drive to school. And then we avoid sending a child to school if he or she is feeling under the weather. And this list records the name of the child, the gender, what class are be in, who is the kid living with, and how are they feeling every day. Before the start of school, after we talk about the family side, we can take a look at what school is doing to get prepared for the new semester. So this was actually taken right downstairs in a school nearby. So the information providing today is a combination of news report, regulations that I've seen published by the government, and my walking around the complex and look at what the schools are like. So of course they have to clean a school. They have to have a full stock of cleaning supplies. And once the school is ready, CDC in Beijing will send a special team that goes into the school and check if all staff are trained and ready for the semester. And some schools actually have mandatory COVID test for all the staff members. Now, during the pre-COVID years, most kids start school at the same time, like the whole pre-elementary school start, the whole middle school start. But this fall, what the school is doing in order to cope with COVID is they start different age groups at different time. So on August the 29th, the new kids in elementary school, the first and the third year school student in junior high, and then all the high school start school. And from August 29th to 31st, there's this new student orientation. So all the first graders of elementary school, junior high, and high school get to learn what to expect in this chunk of time that they're gonna stay in the school. And on September 1st, the 5th and 6th graders start. And in junior high, of course, the 2nd grade start. And on September 7th, the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th grades in elementary school start. And then finally, it's for the preschools. So 4 and 5-year-olds start on the 8th, and actually the 3-year-olds or younger kids, they actually start tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to finally send my kiddo to school. I can have some time to breathe. If you're a mom teacher, you totally know. Going into your classroom is a little bit trickier than the previous years. So all the schools have these stickers on the floor. And before you get into school, your temperature will be checked. And while you're waiting, you have to abide the 1 meter rule. You have to, walk into the gate while standing in line and stay away from the people in front of you. And your temperature will also be checked daily. A quarantine booth is set up for kids and the staff who was found to have a fever. So this is an outdoor booth. So if you were found to have a high fever, you'd be sending into this booth immediately. You can see there's a bed here. There are also like a water and some of like stuff here. So you can rest it here until the hospital send people over to bring you to hospital and do a COVID test. And if any kid is found to have a high fever, inside the classroom, they have a nurse office. So the kid will stay there and the entire class will be quarantined. So actually my neighbor's child, her classmate had a high fever around the 2 p.m., like halfway through a school day. The whole class had to stay until the kid got a COVID test back to show that he's negative. Then the kids are allowed to go home. So by the time everyone's gone, it's like 4 hours after the actual time for the school to end. Inside the classroom, so certain schools still require students to wear masks at all time, but the actual rule is all children have to carry a mask with them, and when there's a lot of people around them, they have to wear the mask. So I had to chat with my neighbor. I ran into him in the elevator. I asked him, do you have to wear a mask all day right now? He said, yes, I do. Do you hate it? At first, yes, but I got used to it because everybody is wearing a mask. He then explained that when they are drinking water, they can take the mask off really quickly. But other than that, because everyone is wearing a mask, so it's sort of like almost a peer pressure that you don't want to be the one without a mask in classroom. It feels weird. And for PE class, because, with a surgical mask, it's difficult to breathe. A lot of parents are talking about if kids still have to wear masks outside during PE class. And it turns out that not really. Kids don't have to wear a mask when they're outside during PE classes. And inspired by that idea, actually, a lot of schools, according to the news that I saw, are bringing their classroom outdoor. So on campus, when they have art class or sometimes even like their Chinese English class, the teacher would just bring the kids outdoor. Now it's not too hot and not too cold, just a great outdoor weather. So everyone just sit together with, 1 meter away from another and have class outdoors so the kids can breathe without mask for a little bit. Well, but that's everything I have to share about campus life during COVID. And now, Teacher Zhao Yi, you can turn on your camera and
thank you, Cassie.
Teacher's Day.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, Cassie, one more question. So it said I cannot start my video because the host has stopped it.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
So I'm not allowed to start my video.
I'm sorry, you. Okay.
Hi, okay, Cassie. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry about it.
No worries. So thank you for sharing, Cassie. And I'm going to share my screen. So 1 second. Great. Can you see my screen, Cassie?
Yes.
Perfect. So hi, teachers. It's very nice to see you guys on this special day. And if you were not here for our previous Chinese classes, please let me introduce myself first. So my name is Yi, and I am a Lingo Bus Chinese teacher. I have been with Lingo Bus for more than 2 years. I love teaching, and I also love cooking Chinese food whenever I am free. And that's about me. So today is special because it's Teachers' Day in China. I know many countries have Teachers' Day and they fall on different days. Like in America, you have Teacher Appreciation Week, while in China, the Teachers' Day falls on September 10th. It's today in Beijing time, and it will be tomorrow for us. So Teachers' Day in Chinese is 教师节. 教师 means teacher, while 节 means day or festival. So Teachers' Day is 教师节. Today we're going to talk about the history of Teachers' Day and how we celebrate Teachers' Day in China. But first of all, I would love to take this opportunity to wish you a happy Teachers' Day. 教师节快乐. And 教师节 is Teachers' Day. And in Chinese, we put happy 快乐 after the day of festival. So happy Teachers' Day is 教师节快乐. If your kids are taking Lingo bus, they can also say 教师节快乐 to our Lingo bus teachers. So now you know teacher could be 教师 in Chinese, and there is another way of saying 教师 that is 老师. 老师, the word on the right, that is 老师. So 教师 and 老师, what is the difference? So the left one, 教师, it is more formal and it usually refers to a group or a profession, while 老师, the right one, is more colloquial and it refers to individual. So in a formal phrase like 教师节, Teacher's Day, we use the word 教师. While if you want to tell someone you are an English teacher, you can use the word on the right, that is 老师, 老师. So for example, English teacher in Chinese is 英语老师, 英语老师. Or if you want to say I am a VIP kid teacher, you can say I'm a VIP kid 老师, 老师. And in China, how do students address a teacher? So students address a teacher by his or her last name plus 老师. For example, my last name is Zhao, so students in China address me 赵老师. Zhao is my last name and plus 老师, 赵老师. So let's look at this word 教. Actually, it has two pronunciations. And you know, Chinese is a tonal language. So if you change the tone of a word, you will get a new meaning. If you were here for our previous pinyin class, do you remember how many tones are there in Chinese? 3, 4, 5? Cassie is right. We have 4 tones. So the first tone is the flat tone, like jiao. The second tone is rising tone, like jiao. Jiao goes up. The third tone goes down first and then up, like jiao. While the last one, the falling tone, is jiao. So this word, when it is pronounced with the falling tone, 教, it means teacher. And in a moment, I'm going to read out the phrase teach Chinese. And you can have a guess which tone does this new word have. So it's 教中文, 教中文. So which tone do you think is right? So the flat tone, the rising tone, or the third tone, like goes down and up. 教中文, 教中文. Yes, if you think the first tone is right, congratulations. It's the first flat tone, like 教. So in a word, when it is pronounced with the falling tone, like 教, it means teacher. It's a noun. While when it is pronounced with the flat tone, like 教, it is a verb, means teach. So next, let's have a look how can we put this word in a sentence. So in this sentence, that is 我教, 我 means I, 教 means teach. So 我教 is I teach. I know all of you teach English on VIP Kid, so you can tell someone else that 我教英文, that is I teach English. 我教英文. I am a Chinese teacher, so that I can say 我教中文. 我教中文. Maybe you also want to say I am an English teacher, so that you can use the word 老师. We just talked about it. 老师. And English teacher is 英文老师. And 我是 means I am. 我是英文老师. 我教英文, that means I teach English. Okay, so next we're going to look at the history of Teacher's Day in China. And Teacher's Day has a very long history, and it could be traced back to Han Dynasty, which is around 206 BC. And each year on August 27th, which was the birthday of Confucius, the emperor would go to Confucius' temple and worship Confucius with officials. Also, the royal teachers would be invited to the imperial court for a banquet. So from this custom, you can see that how Asian Chinese people value education and respect to our teachers. And nowadays, we celebrate Teacher's Day on September 10th. And that's when our new academic year starts. So it offers a good opportunity for students to show their appreciation to the teachers and be respectful to their teachers. So back to the origin of Teachers' Day. So why did we commemorate Confucius, and what makes Confucius so highly valued? So next, we're going to look at the story of Confucius. In China, we call him Kongzi. So Kong is his last name, Kong, while the second word Zi is used for someone who is well respected and influential in the society. So we call him Kongzi. He is the greatest educator and philosopher in China, and his teachings deeply influenced Chinese life and thoughts, and his philosophy emphasized on how to live a moral and ethical life. So he attracted like tons of disciples, and as you can see on this picture, it's Confucius and his students. So here comes a question. How many students does Confucius have? You have three options. A says more than 3,000 students. B says 72, and C says 100. Which one do you think is right? A, B, or C? Congratulations if you choose A. Yes, Confucius had more than 3,000 students. So there were, and 72 among them also became very famous philosophers and educators in the society. So since Confucius had more than 3,000 students, there were many interesting stories among them. The following story shows one of Confucius' educational philosophy. And so the story is like one day, one of Confucius' students called Zilu, the first student, he had a question. So he came to Confucius and he asked, I just heard a very good suggestion. Should I do it right away? Confucius replied, no, you shouldn't. You should ask someone else for advice. Like there are many people who are more experienced than you. You need to think twice. And Zilu got it, so he left. At this time, here came the second student called Ran You. Ran You had the exactly same question as Zilu, the first student. But this time, Confucius said, yes, you should do it right away. And then Ran You left. At this time, there is another student called Gong Xihua. He was kind of confused because those two students asked the same question, but Confucius gave totally different responses. So he asked Confucius, why did you respond differently? And Confucius said, the second student, Ran You, he is too cautious and he's very hesitant. So I want to encourage him to be brave, while the first student, Zilu, he needs to think twice before he does anything. So I want him to be more cautious before he does anything. So this story shows his educational philosophy, that is, we need to teach students according to their aptitude. And nowadays, our teachers still follow his golden rule, like we do modification and differentiation in the class so that we can cater for all abilities. And Confucius also have some other wise words and sayings, teachings that are golden rules. So his disciples recorded and compiled his sayings and teachings into a book that is the analect of Confucius. In Chinese, it's 论语. 论语. It is a classic work of Asian Chinese culture, and we're going to look at some sentences from this book. So the first two are related to education. The first one is 三人行，必有我师焉. That means when three people are working together, I'm sure that I can find someone that I can learn from. And the second one is 知之为知之，不知为不知，是智也. This sentence means it's wise for us to admit that we know something, but we don't know the others. So like Confucius asks us to be humble in the society. He also has some sayings and teachings regarding morality and like friendship. So this sentence is 有朋自远方来， 不亦乐乎. That means it is a great pleasure to have friends come from afar. And the last one is 言必信,行必果. That means you need to keep what you say and carry out what you do. Confucius also have some other sayings to teach us how to be respectful to our teachers and show our appreciation to the teachers. So next, we're going to learn how some sentences to express our gratitude to our teachers. So the first one is 谢谢您,谢谢您. That means thank you, teacher. 谢谢 means thank you. And 您 is a more respectful way of saying 你, you. So 谢谢您,谢谢您. The second one is 老师我爱您. That means teacher, I love you. 老师我爱您. 老师我爱您. And the third one is 老师辛苦了. That means teacher, thank you for your hard work. 老师辛苦了,辛苦了. And the last one is Happy Teacher's Day. That is 教师节快乐. 教师节 means Teacher's Day, and in Chinese we put happy 快乐 after the day of festival. So that is 教师节快乐. 教师节快乐. So Chinese students also love to write down these words in a card so that they can send their teachers some cards on Teacher's Day. Also, we love to send flowers, as you can see on these pictures, send flowers to our teachers, and also gifts to show our appreciation to our teachers. So there are some activities we do on Teacher's Day. And lastly, I would love to say wish you a happy Teacher's Day again. So we can say together, that is 教师节快乐,教师节快乐. So next, we can move on to our Q&A session. And if you have any questions, you are free to type it out in the chat box, and Cassie and I will do our best